Hi there, and thank you for clicking on my video. Today we're going to be talking about hounds. Uh, Considered MR fodder for a long time, they actually do have some pretty niche uses. The best thing I can think of as far as a comparison is what the panzer is to the grineer. These guys are to Corpus. They actually have a couple of pretty specific preset mods that have some very fun things that they can do. Uh, but I'm going to show you my build, and we're going to talk about why I built it this way. The build isn't too exciting, but just to sort of optimize the three preset mods you can potentially do. As you can see, it's firing off. It's very angry. I actually built this hound. This isn't one from one of the sisters. I just didn't want it as sleek as possible. Uh, I would recommend when you build these to just go for a standard health and armor tank. If you like the link shields on here, there definitely is a spot for it. Excuse me. Pack leader, animal instinct, dual synth and vacuum. Whatever your best mods are. For these, if you're missing the synth set, definitely go do some Fortuna bounties for those. But the reason why you use the hounds is the preset mods. I've chosen, and I would recommend you do as well. Pick these three over the other ones. Repo Audit emits a magnetic pulse that disarms enemies. This one's pretty straightforward. The other audit that's pretty popular is the Null Audit, where it copies a Eximus aura and reduces Overguard by 50%. As cool as this effect can be, in sort of a utility charm effect, if you will, it only affects one unit. This, on the other hand, is a 30-meter AoE magnetic proc that turns every unit that's nearby into a melee unit. So the CC and the additional status proc, I chose this one, especially for the disarm. And this fires quite a bit. Synergize prospectus, it does damage, it's whatever. But more importantly, it's the electric AoEs. It's a nice bit of CC. It ricochets quite a bit. The other precepts is the aerial precept, where it does the ion cannon. It's blast damage. If you like that, uh, long range on it, 27 meters. And let's see, focus prospectus. I don't use this one at all because it focus fires heat, which is nice. But the hound doesn't move when it's firing this, and I noticed when I was testing it initially, if this targets something and you're not pulling aggro, everything within like visual range is going to turn and fire at your damn hound. So I didn't use this at all. Uh, though it is heat damage, it's got high alpha for what it is. And reflex denial is probably the most, you know, debatable one, but I like it. Uh, Purely by figuring out what the other ones do. Diversified denial is neat. Seeing the mini hounds is pretty cool, but it has a massive drawback. For the 30 seconds that the hound is running around as three, it's not using its other abilities. And the point of a lot of these abilities is they have low cooldowns, so it's constantly firing. So you're constantly getting disarms, you're constantly getting AoE damage from the electricity and the CC from it. If you do diversified denial, yes, the melee damage goes up, uh, but it's not casting anything else. So I removed that by proxy. If you don't mind that, obviously the damage goes significantly up. And considering the melee from the Hounds can proc condition overload, they'll do a hell of a lot of damage. The other one is this is evasive denial, and to be honest, I tried this figuring it was sort of like the cat clone equivalent, but this thing straight up would shoot off of like bridges and stuff and like die. Or it gets stuck in something. Like if there's any sort of like hole in like the bump mapping or like the part of the code that keeps you on the map, for some reason this loves finding those. So just due to the fact that it's kind of bugged, I decided not to use this. Reflex denial, you you definitely have to play when you're running through your missions like your pet has this. You have to be aware. Technically, this ability has infinite scaling. That being said, he's very angry. And we can see him fire off. There's his little electrical beam. There's the AoE. This guy's melee now. Got his little prova. The shield that it makes. You can see that it does damage. Technically, it is infinite scaling. And when it's up, it acts like a volt shield almost in a 4-meter range. So if you're running in it, everything's shooting at you. The dog will just eventually start one-shotting stuff. It gets really, really powerful when the enemy's shooting at it. That being said, I'm pretty sure the damage it receives from you is bugged and it's capped. Yeah, it went away. It's the wiki says they fixed it, but I'm gonna call cap on it, because if I shoot the Brahma at this, and I know the Brahma does like hundreds of thousands of damage, it doesn't increase the AoE at all. So this is the most controversial one. I like this, but it acts like a mobile volt shield, where it's constantly exploding damage. And you can see how fast it casts. It just cycles through them, and I picked the 3 fastest ones, so it's constantly putting in work. But if you picked the Precept that causes it to break into 3 smaller dudes, you would have a 30-second gap in it casting abilities. So this isn't too exciting, but it's my logic behind what to pick. And you don't have to worry about like precept optimization or ability optimization. And they're the free magnetic stack. Low puncture damage, puncture slash. You don't have to worry about optimization because the range is so big. Any sort of order priority is completely overshadowed by the ranges associated with them. Like the little electrical ball that it shoots has a super big range. Yeah, Synergize prospectus, 30 meters. So it's going to be firing this off as you move from group to group. But this is the most effective build, and the free magnetic and the free electric procs and the range that Corpus units have, I actually found a bunch of utility with this on Corpus missions, specifically higher tier ones. But the most annoying thing is reflex denial. If you don't like that, obviously don't put it on. And run like a bleed out timer increase, like Medipet or Loyal. Was it Loyal Guardian or something? Loyal Companion. I guess run Medipet kit. Man, did I get rid of the other one? But either way. Food for thought. It's definitely unique. Oh, and the melee. There's a bunch of different melees that they come with. 3, I think. Each one... So, the one I use is the Octon, and I have 6 Forma in it. I heavily invested in this. It's Puncture Slash. This scales with Condition Overload, and it benefits from the damage types. You have Puncture Slash, Broughton is Impact Puncture, and then you have Impact Slash. Okay, so it's the three combos of the 3 IPS. They all have similar crit chance multipliers, crit chance, crit multiplier, status chance. The modding for it is very simplistic. Alpha damage, faction damage, whatever the plus 75 damage type is. And the damage for these can get really, really high. Let me pull up some grineer. Attack speed does not affect these. Let it run over. Little angry ball. Magnetic proc. There's this little ability. Procs electricity. Sometimes it just runs around. It takes a second. But most of the time the dog's doing CC and whatnot. Come on, buddy. Melee something. But you can see how fast it's casting its abilities. Okay, well, I guess it doesn't feel like it. But I went with the Puncture Slash, so it has the best alpha damage against grineer. And it will proc RNG-wise, Impact and Slash. So it's very straightforward modding. Can't fit Umbrals, can't do Blood Rushes or anything. So Organ Shatter True Steel is the way to go. But anyway, thank you for listening to my video and have a blessed day.